Hey guys, we'll just wait for the rest to join and we'll start at 8:30, okay? Glad to see familiar
Okay.
faces here. All right, awesome. Okay, all right. So, hi everyone. Good evening. So, I see familiar faces around and some new listeners, which is really awesome. Good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a great week so far. By the way, my name is Kevin, and I have my friend here, Len, with me tonight. And welcome to our weekly Zoom session. It's we do this regularly every Wednesdays, and so we hope that you will continue listening to the lectures. We do this every Wednesdays. By the way, let me just see what we have here. Who we have here? We have Anne. Hey, Anne. Hey, Benedict. Glad you could join us. Hey, Chow. How are you, Chow? Isabel. Hi, Isabel. And we have Joyce. We have Len. We have Maiko. Hey, Maiko. Is it still hot in Japan? Is it still super warm? Or it better?
Yeah, it's getting a little bit cooler, but yeah,
Oh, that
it's still
that's
hot.
it's still hot. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And we have Marian. Hey, Marian. Glad you could join.
Hi.
Hi,
Yeah,
hi.
my third time.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. And we have Marissa. Hey, Marissa. Okay. We have Marvin. Hi, Marvin. We have Paulo and we have Gege Radcliffe. Okay, so we'll just, some people might join so they can just log in later on. And so we can start now. So, hi everyone. So, for this week's story, it's about cats all steal fish. Oh, by the way, Len, would you mind helping me on Skype in case someone is having trouble logging in? Zoom.
Oh, sure, no problem. I got it.
Awesome, thank you. So it's gonna be cats all steal fish, and I would need to get at least two volunteers to read our story. So who would like to let me just to read the story, the first page?
Okay, I will.
Awesome, thank you. Go ahead.
Cats all steal fish. A man came home to find his wife standing in the kitchen with a stick in her hand, raised threateningly in the air. Hey, what's going on? He asked. Hi, she said. I'm furious. What's wrong? Today I bought some of your favorite fish for dinner, and it cost a pretty penny too. I laid it on the carving board and then turned around to adjust the fire on the stove. The second my back was turned, the cat of ours jumped up, grabbed the fish, and ran off. I called and called, but it just glared at me and growled. I'm so mad, I don't know what to do.
Thank you so much. And who would like to read the next page, please? Anyone? Can you guys see the screen, or I might be freezing? I'm having internet problems earlier. So would anyone mind reading the second page for me?
May I?
Ah, yes, go ahead, Anne.
I see. Well, let's sort out what happened. Did the cat know that it was my favorite dish or that it cost a pretty penny? Of course not. It's only a cat. It's ours, the only cat who steals fish? No, they're all the same. What about a cook who lets a cat get the better of her? Would you say she's smart or otherwise? I'm afraid if Buddha judged this case, you, the plaintiff, would end up paying all the court costs. All right, never mind. I won't hit the cat. No, by all means, go right ahead and deliver a beating. But the cat's not to blame. Who is? Me. Then hit yourself with the stick. Cats have been stealing fish since the beginning of time.
Amazing. Thank you, Anne. And I'm going to read the last bit here. We are tormented with anger because we are convinced we are right. So thank you, Anne and Michael, for reading. So this is an amazing story, at least for me, because it involves cats. I like cats. Does anyone else love cats? So they're kind of adorable, right? And they might pose some challenges. They might appear a bit too selfish sometimes, but most people love cats. So this is also timely, especially during the pandemic, because a lot of people are struggling with, dealing with their anger, right? So we're so happy that you guys are here. By the way, this is member-supported Pure Land Buddhism Center of the Philippines. And as I've mentioned earlier, we do this session every Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Philippine time. So let's make a quick review of the story, okay? So a man was coming home, right? He was on his way to go home, and he found his wife standing in the kitchen with her stick, in her hand. He raised the stick threateningly in the air. So imagine this is the wife, the wife looks so furious. Maybe not this furious. This for me is kind of too much, but I didn't find any other image that is kind of a bit low key. But you get the point. So the wife is furious. So angry. She raised threateningly in the air. Had a stick on her hand. And then the man said, "Hey, what's going on?" You know? And then she said, "Hi, I'm furious." Then the husband said, "What's wrong?" So, today I bought some of your favorite fish for dinner, and it cost a pretty penny too. So, by the way, I took this photo 2 weeks ago. This is what I cooked 2 weeks ago. But this is pretty much also a kind of expensive fish, especially when you're in Cebu or Manila. But here in the province, it's pretty kind of cheap. But yeah, so the wife bought a pretty much expensive fish, and then what happened? So I laid it on the carving board and then turned around to adjust the fire on the stove. Okay. The second my back was turned, the cat of ours jumped up, grabbed the fish, and ran off. I called and called, but it just glared at me and growled. I'm so mad, I don't know what to do. Okay, so you see here the cat, you can just imagine the situation. Um, Here you are looking at the cat. the cat stole the fish, and you are kind of feeling furious because the cat now is growling back at you like, how dare you, cat? Why did you stole the fish? And then you are now trying to show this violent expression against me, right? So you might be thinking that way. So, and then the man continued, I see. Well, let's sort out what happened. You know, did the cat did the cat know that it was my favorite fish, or that it cost a pretty penny? And then the wife said, of course not. It's only a cat. Okay. And then the man said, is ours the only cat who steals fish? The wife said, no, they're all the same. And then the man continued, then what about a cook who lets a cat get better of her? Would you say she's smart or otherwise? I'm afraid if Buddha judged this case, you, the plaintiff, would end up paying all the court costs. And then the wife said, all right, never mind. I won't hit the cat. No, by all means, go right ahead and deliver a beating. But the cat's not to blame, the wife said. And then who is? Asked the man. Me, the wife said. Then hit yourself with the stick. So that's a quick summary of the story, right? It's pretty short, but we can learn a lot of things in here, especially we can learn a valuable lesson from here. So let me just go back here real quick. Now you may wonder, you may try to argue or think, oh, you know what, Kevin, not all cats steal, right? Because I know some of my friends, they own cats that are really trained well. Their cats are so patient. I'm sure you don't often see cats that are patient because most are really just impatient. But their cats are really are tamed. They're well trained. So you may wonder, oh, you know what? Not all cats do it. But given the situation, when you leave food lying on the table for hours and hours, eventually the cat will be hungry and the cat will be forced to jump on the table and eat whatever it is that's available because they're going to be hungry eventually. So in the end, all cats are the same. All cats steal fish. So the cats, they have been stealing fish, right? Since the beginning of time. We are tormented with anger because we are convinced we are right. Okay? So here's an amazing photo of cats. I think this is from an island in Japan where they have lots of cats. Not sure if you're familiar with this, but it's kind of like a dream come true for me to be able to go there. So, but basically, who here owns a cat? I think Len has a cat or cats, right, Len? Or do you only have dog?
Yeah, I do. Oh no, one cat and two dogs.
Oh, wow, wow, yeah. Who else here, has a
Me,
cat
I
as a
have a
pet?
Himalayan cat. Me, Marian, I have a Himalayan cat.
Oh, wow. I'm not sure how that looks like, but are they fluffy or?
A little bit, yeah.
I see. And do you love your cats? Are they impatient?
Yeah, sometimes.
I see.
Okay.
Yeah. So Um, I don't have cats at home because sometimes I leave. Well, I used to go just move from city to city. So I'm afraid that if I own cats, I might not be able to feed them on time. So I don't own cats. However, there are what we call this neighboring cats, stray cats that go to visit me regularly. I feed them, and so there's no like direct relationship for me. I don't feel guilty because if I own a cat directly, I can't leave the cat at home because I'm always on the go. So basically, cats are really adorable. We like them, but you know they're just cats. It's their nature to always just look for food. They go scratching rubbing their heads beside on your legs when they're hungry, because that's how cats are, right? So let me just check my Skype real quick. Let me just check Zoom. 1 second. Oh, okay. Well, Geo Geo Mio says one Siamese. Wow. One Persian and two Philippine short-haired kitties. Wow, you have lots of cats. That's amazing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. All right. So here, anger makes us think terrible things, terrible thoughts, and do violent things. So if you remember the woman, the wife, if you look at her image, this is not her, but you could just imagine, the anger she has when the cat stole the fish. So when we are angry, we can do any unspeakable things. We think terrible things, and we do violent stuff, right? Anger evaporates as quickly as it flares up, and then we feel sorry afterwards, and we wish we had not gotten so riled up. Now, the thing to do here is to step back and ask, what made you so angry, right? So, if you remember, like a month ago, we discussed a similar topic. It's also about anger, but we focused on counting from one to 10, right? Remember, we did the group activity. We counted from 1 to 10. So this is kind of like a continuation of that, but there's something that I want to add on this specific story. You know, so we need to step back and ask ourselves what made us so angry, and then try to look, try to reflect, try to understand the person or the being or the animal that we're angry with, right? So in this case, you see here a dog, two dogs and a cat. They're just animals. They don't they have a different um they have different bodies than us. They have a lesser formed or evolved neurological system. So they have these limitations. So once we understand them, once we look at those things, we can become more compassionate to them. We can understand that they're just animals. They don't have much control over things around them compared to us humans, right? And then for kids as well, kids sometimes I admit that sometimes I lose my patience with kids, but that's just because they're kids. It's expected for them to be this. They can be messy sometimes. They can run here and there. They can poke fun at people. They can destroy things, but that's just because they're kids. Their level of maturity is at par from us, right? So that's just an example. We need to understand that. We need to look at and pause. Look at the person or the being that we're angry with. If are they kids? Are they animals? So because if we first identify that, then we become more compassionate to them. We understand that they have their limitations and that we need to step up. We need, because we are the ones who are in control. We're the ones who are more mature enough to understand the situation. Let me just check Skype. Okay. All right. So, any questions so far? Any feedback? Just put your type in Skype and so I can read them there, or you can unmute your microphone if you like. Okay. So, what is the opposite of anger? Do you guys remember? We discussed this a few weeks ago, and I think Len has also mentioned this before. Can anyone remember what the opposite of anger is?
Wisdom?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Wisdom?
Oh, it's almost there. It's wisdom, yeah. But the opposite of anger, Anne says it is patience. But you're still right, Michael, because eventually, I'm gonna discuss that later. But the opposite of anger is patience, right? Right. So, just a quick review of the six good deeds as taught by Sakyamuni Buddha. We have number one, giving or kindness. Number two, discipline or keeping promises. Number three, forbearance, patience. Number four, diligence, effort. Number five, contemplation, self reflection. Number six, wisdom and self cultivation. And I'm not gonna focus on this now, but we have a separate talk on this. So I would love if you could join this on the upcoming sessions. But generally, Michael is still right. It's because wisdom is like a summary of all the first five deeds. But I'd like to focus on patience first. Okay. So with being patient, one best way to cultivate patience is by doing the mindful pause. You know, so what is a mindful pause? Remember, we did the activity last like a month ago. We counted from 1 to 10. Now, the reason why we count from 1 to 10 is that so we can pause. The first 10 seconds is important, but actually there's no limit to the pause that you need because it really depends on the situation. On some cases, 10 seconds is enough, but for like other situations where it's very like it's so stressful, you can go more than 10 seconds. You can step out of the room and go for 30 minutes or even take a day, 3 days, or a week just to reflect on yourselves. So it depends on the situation, it depends on the person. But why is it important to have or to practice the mindful pause, right? Why 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 is it important that we pause and not react right away when we're angry? So these are just examples, of really stressful situations that will make us angry. So, number one, you've just learned that your boyfriend or girlfriend cheated on you. Number two, or your boss criticized you in front of a large group of people. This is humiliating, right? Nobody likes this, right? I think everyone will agree that this is really humiliating. So, if we are to receive feedback, it would be best if we get it privately. So, these are just two examples, and then there are more examples out there. If you want to share, you feel free to post on Skype. If you've been in a really stressful situation, and you just feel like this is too much for me to handle. I just can't, like, taking a pause is not enough. I need to react right away. So have you been in such situation before? If yes, and I know most of you do, uh, please feel free to share on Skype, or you can unmute your microphone and speak up if you like. Okay, so, oh, does anyone want to speak?
I guess I experienced that last year.
Huh? Oh, really?
Yeah, so my boyfriend cheated on me.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, that sounds really stressful. And then so Len says I'm on pause for 15 years. Is that still okay? 15 years. Wow, that's quite long. But yeah, it depends, you know, because it varies, you know, the situation and how the anger or how it impacted us, right? There are a lot of people who feel so down, they feel so depressed because of what people did to them. So yeah, I mean, I haven't done this 15 years, but some people might need 15 years. But yeah, and then Anne says, practice mindful pause so you could think of what is right thing to do. Yes. And then Joy says, yeah, sorry to hear. Yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Okay. So the mindful pause help us step back from the angry thoughts and not act on it. So this is the thing that's really important. It's pausing for a while and thinking, you know, what's going on? Like, why am I angry? Is it worth it to respond right away, right? And who am I angry at? Is it a kid? Is it an animal? In this story, for example, it's a cat. Does the cat, you know, have enough wisdom to understand the situation? Does the kid have enough maturity to understand what's going on? So these are things that we can do while doing the mindful pause, right? And then count from 1 to 10. Yes, it's really important. This is the first thing you can do, you know. In most cases, it works like magic. It will help us reflect right away, even if it's just 10 seconds, you know, it's really helpful. And so the mindful pause is it's not a magic bullet, and it takes some time to work, but it does work. So it's cultivation, you know. It's not like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna be an expert in being patient. No, right? So there are a lot of people, they they try so hard to be patient at first, but eventually, you know, they kind of face some challenges along the way. So it takes time, it takes some cultivation, but every step matters. So every effort that you do is counted. You know, it's eventually you will master the deed of being patient. You will be able to be mindfully um, aware. You know, when you're angry, then it becomes automatic that you will pause, right? It becomes second nature. Okay, and then Suzette says, it's best to keep quiet and step back and leave the scene. Yes, yes. Sometimes we can do that. Yeah, so we can pause and reflect. Right. Gwen says, sharing triggers at home when any of our family members tend to judge you right away or not understand you as they themselves also have problems when handling their own anger. It is difficult. So constant reminder to just focus on how you react first and mind your own self-awareness. This is true. It's even more challenging if more people are involved, right? So like in my case here, since it's the pandemic, we're trying to minimize traveling to the cities. I'm only with my grandfather. There's only two of us. He's a very patient guy, and so I don't have much issues, but I could imagine that if I am with my other relatives, it would be more challenging. So that's right. So the key here is really, you know, own cause, own effect, right? So just to give you a quick review about the law of cause and effect. And by the way, we have a separate session for this. So, but as a quick summary or review, The law of cause and effect says good deeds bring good results, bad deeds bring bad results, your own deeds bring your own results. So, as what Gwen mentioned earlier, it's best that we focus on ourselves because the patience, the seeds of patience that we plant will only go back to us. You know, the more patient we become, the less stress and anxiety we feel, the less guilt is involved as well. Because we're not gonna feel guilty, you know, because we're not gonna burn, we're not gonna show our anger. So it will eventually make us feel more peaceful and more productive in whatever things we're doing, right? Right, so that's pretty much it for the story. Let's see here. So Lee says, okay, Len says, yes, when we are hurt, we only think of the suffering others bring to us that we forget others may be hurting too because of our doings or presence. Yes, absolutely. And then Lee Dachi says, whenever I feel angry, I'm analyzing it first if the other party would be mature enough to take what I need to say. If not, I keep myself in silence then. Yes, right. This is also one really good way when doing the mindful pause, trying to analyze the maturity level of the other person is also a very good thing to do. Suzette says, we value ourselves and my new business really took off. Good karma for me. Awesome. That's amazing. And then, so what if something comes up and I don't have enough time to slow things down? Right. So this is kind of on a case-to-case basis. There are situations when it's really urgent, you know, especially if it's at work, for example. And let's say you're in a fight or a conflict with a coworker. Now, the best way is, of course, not to go step back and go out for a break. Maybe you can do that. But the best way, if you don't have time, is to ask for support or help. Now, in this case, it's your supervisor or any senior at the office, but it's on a case-to-case basis, right? Okay, so yeah, so we invite you to continue listening to Buddhism. You know, the more you listen to Buddhism, the more you listen to the lectures, you'll see yourself happier, empowered, motivated, and more mindful. And we have other talks, like I mentioned earlier. We have several talks, and we constantly post these on Skype and on our Facebook group. So that's all for tonight's talk. Do you guys have any questions or feedback? And this is, by the way, this is not an end discussion. So if you have anything you want to share, feel free to post it on Skype and we can continue the conversation there. So I'm so glad to have you around here tonight, especially the new ones. And so we hope you continue listening. We're happy you're here. This is member-supported Pure Land Buddhism Center of the Philippines. And good night, everyone. Good
Good
night,
night.
guys.
Okay, good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Bye.